The level of CO2 in the atmosphere is around 400 ppm, and that level is quite concerning. Now, we have a target to meet in the UK of achieving net zero CO2 emissions by 2050. And by net zero, we don't actually mean reduce all our emissions to zero, because we can't actually reduce our way out of this problem. We need to have a balance. We need to reduce the emissions we emit of CO2 as far as we can, to as close to zero as we can, but there are some residual emissions we just can't get rid of. For example, we have value for flying, and aeroplanes for the immediate future in our lifetimes are probably always going to emit CO2. And so we're going to have technologies that remove CO2 from the atmosphere and place it into permanent underground storage such that we can carry on flying. There are two key ways to remove carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. They come under the general heading of greenhouse gas removals. And the first one is called BECCS, or bioenergy with CCS, or carbon capture and storage. And here we use a unique property of biomass, plants and trees that we grow especially to give us energy. Because as the plant grows, it absorbs carbon dioxide from the sky and turns that into plant matter. That carbon is stored within that plant matter. If we go on to use that plant matter that contains carbon as a fuel, we of course convert the carbon into carbon dioxide again, and we can release that back into the atmosphere as a renewable CO2. But better still, we can capture that CO2 and pipe it underground into permanent underground storage, an old oil well or a saline aquifer if you like. And in that way, we've used this unique property of biomass to extract CO2 from the air and at the same time give us some energy. The second technology I want to tell you about is called DACS, Direct Air Capture with Carbon Storage. And it's an emerging technology. It's being developed in the United States. And it's not an energy producing technology, it's an energy using technology. Because we process air, we pass it through some big fans, and we extract the CO2 into a solvent. And once the CO2 is captured, we can re-release the air, stripped of the CO2, and take the CO2 and pipe it underground for permanent underground storage.